Yo, 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 welcome back to the Jam with Kid Podcast 216. You already know how we start. I'm going to start off by thanking God for all He has done for me and what He will continue to do for me, but not only me, my family, my friends, and those who I don't even know. Today is Friday. And for many of us, it's the best day of the week because you got the next 2 days off. For, for other people, you already had yesterday off, and today is your off day. So you might have Thursday, Friday, or you might have Friday, Saturday. You might be going back Sunday. But still, it's still a good day. It's still a good day. So for those of you who are listening, you're blessed. You are blessed. And I want to start off how I start off, and I want to start off with a scripture in Mark verse 11:24. It says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, in prayer, believe that you have received it, and it will be yours." I'm going to read that again in case somebody didn't catch it. In Mark 11, chapter 24, it says, "Therefore I tell you, whatever you ask in prayer, believe that you have received it, and that it is yours." That's the scripture of today. But the title of today is going to be consistency. What does that mean? What does that mean? Let that sink in for a second. What does that mean to you? And while we letting it sink in for a second, I want to read an article that I came across about consistency. It says, lack of clarity. Often people struggle to be consistent because they do not have a clear vision of what they want to achieve. Without a specific goal or objective in mind, it's hard to stay motivated and focused. Fear of failure can paralyze even the most dedicated individuals. Woo, let that sink in. Did you catch that? That was deep. I'm just going to read it again. It says, lack of clarity. Often people struggle to be consistent because they don't have a clear vision of what they want to achieve. Without a specific goal or objective in mind, it's hard to stay motivated and focused. Failure can paralyze even the most dedicated people. Let that sink in. But I'm going to talk about it. A lot of people, and I'm going to say this, when I say a lot of people, I'm always going to include myself because this is in reference to myself as well. The most consistent thing that we do is be inconsistent. Somebody didn't catch that. The most consistent thing that we do is be inconsistent. We're better at being inconsistent than being consistent. That's backwards, right? Right. And I'm here to tell you that it's hard. I agree with that article because a lot of times you don't have a clear vision, like it said, and it said, without a specific goal or objective in mind, it's hard to be motivated. Some days we don't be consistent because we ain't motivated. I agree with that. And even if we are motivated, we're not disciplined. When you're disciplined, you do what you have to do. You do what you have to do. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You just do what you have to do to get it done. You do what you got to do to get it done. I'm going to give an example. I always like using myself. So I wanted to start off on my journey of doing my podcast, right? and I was making episodes, and I was doing it every Monday. I was doing it every Friday. But I was very consistent in the beginning, right? I had people listening to me. It was on a roll. I was doing good. And for some odd reason, I just stopped. No excuse. I mean, I wanted to do it, but like I said before, life happens. I got distracted. Things were on my mind. I just didn't do it. So I gave myself a reason not to do it, even though I wanted to do it. You feel me? Like we got to do it. It's hard, but then sometimes we got to surround ourselves around people that's going to hold us accountable, or people that will inspire us, or people that will motivate us or hold us accountable. Like, hey man, what's up with the podcast? Man, you ain't doing our podcast today, man. What's up, bro? Like, yeah, you know what? I got to do it. So it's someone that's helping you along your journey so you could be successful. Ain't nothing wrong with that. And I wanted to do it. Like, I've been wanting to do this podcast for at least 2 years. At least 2 years. And I struggled. I would do it, stop. I saw this YouTube video. And in the YouTube video, it talked about, in the beginning, like, he's like, as of right now, his podcast, he's made $1 million off his podcast. Right? But he was saying in the beginning, he was making episodes, but then he would take like a month off. Like he said, he had like a decent amount of followers on his podcast, then he would take a month off. And then he said he would start over again. But he showed this graph, and he said every time I took off, I lost subscribers and I lost followers. So when I went back on to do it again, it was almost as if I had to start from the beginning. If that makes sense. So he had to start all over again. You know what I'm saying? Because now whoever was listening to him, they was waiting on the content. It didn't come out. They moved on. I thought that was deep. And I felt like in the slightest way, that happened to me a little bit. Like, I had a lot of listeners. Not a lot. I had a decent amount of listeners. They were listening, then I would stop. And I felt like I had to start all over again, you know? You got to be consistent. And I said this in the last episode, but I want to say this again in terms of my wife. My wife in the beginning wasn't consistent, right? But when she started to be consistent and her content on her YouTube channel, she started to flourish. And now she has about 500 and something, I think like 550 subscribers. And on any given video, she'll get up at least by a minimum 5,000 views. But it wasn't always like that. It was a grind. You feel me? Like, but I'm proud of her. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's good. And that's how we got to be in whatever we want to do. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy. Anything worth having is going to be hard, and it ain't going to be easy. Because we live in this life where there's so many different distractions. I said this before. We got Instagram, for those of you who have an Instagram, or Facebook, or YouTube, social media, or maybe you don't got no social media. Maybe you do. But you have some type of distraction. It could be the TV. It could be a friend. It can be somebody in your life that's distracting you from doing what you want to do. And it might not even be purposely. You might say, I'm going to give an example. I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to get up every Monday and Thursday, for example, and I'm going to go to the gym. But on Thursday, you told yourself you're going to go to the gym, but on Thursday, your friends come over, you are chilling, now you don't go to the gym. Or your friends might come over, they come over, have a good time, they'll chill, watch some movies, get a little something to eat, they leave. You can still go to the movie. To the gym. But by this time, you done chilled all day, now you don't go to the gym. But your intention that you really wanted to go to the gym, like you said, no matter what, I'm going to go to the gym Monday and Thursday. And now Thursday didn't go. right? Then you say, I'm going to do it next Thursday. Some come up next Thursday. You might have an appointment. It might not even last all day. Your appointment might be in the evening. Now, the gym open 24 hours or maybe open to midnight. Your appointment's at 5. You don't get out till 6. You come home, chill, get you some grub, get you something to eat, watch a movie or two, chill, relax. Now you're like, man, I don't feel like going. Then you don't go. Stuff like that happens all the time. Unconsciously, like we do stuff like that all the time. We don't mean to do it. We don't deliberately do it, but it just happens. But when you consistent about something, nothing can stand in your way unless it's unforeseen circumstances. That's something totally different. Other than that, it shouldn't matter who you're around. They should understand that. Hey man, I'm gonna call it a night a little early. I got some things I gotta work on, working on my YouTube channel, working on my podcast, I'm working on my schoolwork to go to school. Whatever it is. You could do it. It just you gotta believe it. You know what I'm saying? But consistency is very hard because you live an everyday life. You gotta go to work. For most of us, we got kids. We gotta pick them up from daycare. We gotta cook food. We gotta wash laundry. It's so much stuff throughout the day. Before you know it, the day has passed you by. You're like, man, I've been meaning to do this. Or some of us might have 2 jobs. You're exhausted. You're like, where do I find the time to do this? Where do I find the time? But someone once told me a long time ago, people make time for what they want to do. So if you really want to do something, you can make time to do it. And not only should you make time to do it, you have to be consistent. No matter how hard it is, you have to be consistent. But stuff like this doesn't happen overnight. You know what I'm saying? We just got to take it one day at a time. You know, ask God. You know, God, help me through this. I need your help. And that's okay. Lean on a friend. Whoever needed to lay your head on, or, bro, like, I need some help through this. That's cool. Like, that's okay. But in order to get where you want to go out of life, what I've learned, it has to have a level of consistency. Whatever it is, relationships, whatever it is. You can't do something one day, don't do it the next day. You know, I'm gonna always like to use myself as an example. Prime example, I'm gonna say it again. When I wanted to lose weight, I had said this in another episode, but I'll mention it again. It wasn't going to happen for me because I wasn't consistent. The moment I started being consistent, things started to unfold. And that's a fact. It can happen. You gotta believe. You have to believe in it. Like, man, this is gonna work, man, this is gonna happen. And let nothing get in your way. It's just like, I'll give an example. When you go to work every day, you're consistent, right? You got a schedule. Your job is consistent. Because for the most part, for many of us, we get the same schedule every week. Unless we take off PTO or take a vacation. They give us a schedule, it's consistent. If the schedule does change, very rarely, they'll let you know ahead of time. But for the most part, you keep the same schedule. They're consistent. You go to work every day at 10:30, 11 o'clock. That's consistent. That's consistent. You consistently do that. You feel me? Like, you do that every day. When you go on your phone, for most of us, we go on Facebook for like 30 minutes. And then your phone tells you how long you've been on there. That's consistent. Like, we can do it. Like, we can do this. Like, we can do this, man. But like I said before, like, Rome wasn't built in a day, and it'll take time. It will take time, but in the end, when it's all said and done, I promise you, like, it's gonna be worth it. It's gonna be worth it. And you have to put God first in whatever you do. Whatever you decide to do, put God first. Put God first. And I'm still learning that. And lean not on your own understanding. It's gonna be all right. But again, I'm here to tell you, I'm gonna say this once, I'm gonna say it twice. It is difficult. Being consistent, for me personally, is one of the hardest things to do, because you can slip up and not do it. My pastor has a saying, and his saying is never fail twice. So I'll give this example. So say you say, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm gonna work out 5 days a week. Okay. You don't go one day, so you go the next day. You just never not do it twice. And that's how he's always been consistent. So that's a different way of looking at it. Like, okay, so if I don't go to the gym today, excuse me, as long as I go the next day, okay, I'm okay. That's okay. You just gotta get back slowly into it. Whatever your dream is, whatever you want to be consistent at, it can happen. I believe in you. We should believe in each other, and we can accomplish it. Because when it's all said and done, it will be worth it. I guarantee you that. Because then you'll look back at this like, man, and people might ask you for advice. Like, they might say, man, hey, man, what was your tips? What was your steps? What did you do? And you can say, like, man, I went through a lot, but if I had to say one thing, I was consistent. I'm currently working on that. And I'm getting better at it each and every day. But that is all for today. Y'all can follow me on Facebook at Keelan Adarius Kid. On Instagram, Keelan_Kid. Or on YouTube, Keelan Kid. I'm in the process right now of revising my YouTube channel and my Instagram. But for right now, you can follow me on my personal page, and then I'm going to be revising and everything. But I just want to say thank y'all for taking the time out your day to listen to this episode today. I hope it was useful. I hope it's something that you can take away from it and use it in your everyday life. And those of you who are doing it, give me some feedback. Let me know how it's going for y'all. On my Instagram, on my Facebook, my YouTube channel, just let me know. Like, let me know how it's going for y'all. And for those, like I said, the ones that are doing it, what y'all accomplished by being consistent. What was your outcome? What was your results? I'll be happy to listen. I think it'll be good. Yeah, hit me up. Emails DAKID, KIDD93 at gmail.com. Like I said again, on Facebook, it's Keelan Adarius Kid. And my Instagram is Keelan_Kid. My first name is spelled KEYLEN. Last name is Kid, KIDD. And there's an underscore in the middle. Thank y'all for listening to the Jim and Kid podcast. I'll talk to y'all on Monday. Thank you.